So you mean to tell me you were okay with cheating on your wife, taking another woman overseas, and then abandoning the woman you took overseas in the country you took her to? Are you okay? I just can't. So earlier today, I had just got off from work and I was going to get gas, and a man had walked up to me. He was like, "You are so gorgeous." He's like, "I'm married and single and ready to mingle." Huh? Come again? So I said, "Thank you for the compliment, but you should keep those reserved for your wife." And then I walked off. So then it triggered a thought that reminded me of a story that I just heard not too long ago. And it went a little something like this. A woman suspected her husband of cheating, and she was right. However, she wanted to be very meticulous with how she gathered up her evidence, because the end. So when she first found out that her husband was cheating on her, the first thing she did was cut off sex, because obviously she's not trying to contract any diseases. A very smart woman. And he didn't suspect anything because she masked it as going to a doctor and just basically saying she went for a checkup, and the doctor stated that she needed to lay off of intercourse for a little bit, and there was no pushback from him, no whining, no complaining, no nothing. Now, mind you, she already knows for a fact that he's cheating, but if it was only a suspicion, that right there probably would have been enough for her to confirm that he was definitely cheating. Because how are you just okay with not having sex with your wife and not even trying to like act like you care at least? So she did mention that he travels a lot for work, which is why she never really raised any suspicions whenever he would say things like, "Oh, I'm going to be out of town for a couple of days," or even a week or two at a time. But then, like I said, she knew for a fact at this point that he was cheating. She said she came across an email where he had booked a trip for two, and she was not the second person. And that was to go to Greece. Now, I don't remember like the details about the out of country travel, but just know it's very seldom, and it's basically the same countries that he would go to if he did have business out. So the fact that he was going to a whole Greece with a +1 and the +1 wasn't her, yeah, she was going to find out for sure. So what does she do? She goes ahead and she books herself and her best friend a flight to Greece as well. And she also books the rooms at the same place that they'll be staying at once they arrive. And don't think for a second that she booked a little rinky-dinky coach seat. No. Her and her bestie were about to be flying in style, in business, bitch. Yeah. And on his dime. So basically, she said she could see his itinerary. So he really did have business in the U.S. And then from the U.S., he was supposed to be flying to Greece for this other business trip, aka vacation with the other woman. And, you know, she's just playing along like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, no problem." Okay, so now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the story. Also, if you hear the air blowing into the mic, I'm sorry. It got hot in here. I live in Florida. You understand. The second half of the husband's itinerary was for him and his mistress to travel via boat to Greece. So it's going to take them a couple of days to get there. Boat as in cruise. So he was trying to take his sweet ass time on this vacation from his wife. So the wife and the bestie, they get on the flight, they get to Greece, they're living it up, everything swipe, 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 charge, charge, charge. And of course, she also brought cash as well, because she didn't want to like send off any red flags and have like the bank calling them. You know, she again played it very smart. You're probably thinking, how did she get away with booking a trip and her husband not finding out? Short answer, she used an emergency credit card. It's not connected to any apps like their frequently used credit cards, which means no app connection, no notifications to the phone. No notifications to the phone means our good sis can book a fully paid trip to Greece for her and her bestie, all courtesy of her husband. And he has no idea. So wife and bestie are doing all the things, and they are living it up for those 2-3 days. And then the day comes that her husband and his girlfriend are now approaching Greece. Now, she didn't really orchestrate a plan on how she was going to run into her husband. So one day she was having breakfast with her best friend, if I remember, and she saw her husband and the other woman like walking into like the area together. They had like their little matching outfits on, and she's like, you know, the woman was pretty or whatever. They looked really cute together, honestly, because of, you know, their little ensemble and everything like that, right? So as she's enjoying her breakfast or whatever, that man and that woman walked by and didn't even realize that she was there. So what does she do? She takes her phone out, takes a picture of them, and then she waits a couple of seconds, and then she sends it to them, right? Or him. And that man panicked, talking about, where did you get this picture from? Who sent this to you? Not knowing that she's only a couple of feet away. So just to speed the story along, eventually she makes herself known that she's there, walks up to them, and this man looked like he done seen a ghost. And it's just so crazy because you did all of this just to be with another woman. So why do you care about your wife? It was never about his wife, but I'll tell you what it was about. This man was so panicked that he was willing to leave that girl in Greece and book a flight to go back home with his wife to work things out. And you know what she said? She told that man, no, you booked your trip with that woman. You're not about to abandon her here. You're going to enjoy yourself. I'm going to enjoy myself. And we'll talk when we get back to the States. I know this man was shitting bricks. Like, he was trying to figure out what is going on. Why is she so calm? Why is she not yelling at the top of her lungs, cursing me out, trying to fight this woman, all the things. So fast forward, they're back in the States, and this man is still begging and pleading, saying that he wants to work things out, and she's telling him no, 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 and whatnot. And then after a while, he realizes that he's not going to be able to get her back. And so then it switches from, I love you, I miss you, I made a mistake, to, you're not getting anything from me. Now we're getting to what you're really worried about. Oh, and I also forgot one other important detail. She did serve him with divorce papers because best believe she spoke to an attorney before she went on the trip so that she knew exactly what needed to happen when they got back. So then he starts talking about, oh, you had a car, but you're not taking the house, you're not taking da-da-da-da. Like, basically just telling her everything that she's not going to take, right? And so she's like, are you sure about that? You sure I'm not going to take that house from you? And he's like, you're not taking anything. Da, 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 da. Like, he's just so confident that she's not going to get anything in the divorce, right? And so she goes ahead and reminds him of a little clause that he signed in a prenuptial agreement that they had. And it went a little something like this. If you ever cheat within your marriage and evidence is provided, you will forfeit 70% of everything you own. And you know what that man said? I don't care. I'm going to sign it because I'm not that type of man. I would never cheat on you. Moral of the story, never say never. My girl is up and it's stuck on legal documents. So there's nothing he could do about it.